held down in every way possible. And we don't need it
No,
today.
they got it right. They got it right. They got it right.
Okay. So let me ask you, my friend, how are you today? You know, I always worry about my brothers. I mean, I worry about y'all the most.
I mean, to be honest, I was already in a funky mood because of DMX. So like so 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 everything else that's happening right now, I was already, you know, uh in a foul mood because of what happened to X. And we're still not even 100% sure what it is that caused. I mean, there's a lot of speculation about why he got sick, what ultimately happened to him. But the minute they started talking about brain activity, I was like, all right, it's a
It's
wrap.
over.
It's just a wrap. The minute you start talking about brain activity, lack of brain activity, then they were saying that when they were trying to resuscitate him, he had no oxygen for like 30 minutes. I was like, this people don't come back from that. They
No.
they they don't. And you know, for me, and of course this might be, trying to, this might sound a little bit what should we call it? Can't even think of the right word to say, but even if it sounds like I'm being, overdrawn about it, no, like, because you hear me talk about music all the time, and DMX is literally why I rap. I literally started rapping because, just to find some humor in a tragic situation. I was 15 years old. I had broken my leg from playing basketball, and I was in the house recuperating, and I saw his "What They Really Want" video with Cisco, and my 15-year-old head said, if I can get all the chicks from the video from rapping, then I need to start rapping. And I literally started like that. I literally became a rapper because I was like, listen, I don't know how he got all them girls in that video. I need to figure out the method. Show me the ways, DMX, show me the ways. And so like, no, he meant a lot. He meant a lot to me. And he meant a lot to me in another way too, because like, especially there's the hyper masculinity that people always see in hip hop, and somebody who was as rough and tumble as him was probably also the most vulnerable, most emotional out of everybody.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, okay,
Was,
okay. I want to tell you my DMX story, my funny one.
yeah.
You know, it was the movie Belly. And
Shorty can't eat no books. Like,
and it was in our where we were, it was only showing at the 99-cent movie theater. And you didn't go to the 99-cent movie theater. Like you just did not go. And you definitely did not go as two women. But I made my best friend. I'm like, no, because I just thought DMX was the finest thing in the world. And then when I saw that shower scene, like to this day, okay. But I made her go to the 99-cent movie with me, where people really use the movie more as a hotel, to, to see DMX and his body and everything, because I always loved him. But just to go back, sorry, to what I just cut you off from saying is, if people listen to his music for real and not just his hits, like, um, they were the most beautiful, vulnerable, um, lyrics almost of any rapper that you could think of. It's interesting because, of course, like everybody else, I was playing him all this weekend. And, like his song, I Miss You, talking, to his grandmother, I just thought was just so powerful. And then he has another one. I can't think of it right now, but he really does just lay it out there. And when I wrote about it, I said, when he died, it felt personal for me. I said, because there's some people, some stars that you feel like you know them. And I just felt like we were cool, although I never met him, because he was vulnerable. He let us in. We knew how bad things were. We knew when he was hurting. We knew about his childhood and how it wasn't perfect. And usually we just get the polished image of people, and we didn't get that of him. We just got him, like just raw
yeah,
as
and it's
him.
and the thing about it is it's it shows you it's kind of similar in the sense that, you know, when people used to talk about, for example, Tupac, right? Everybody would say that depending on who you ask, you might get a completely different version of Tupac. But the
That's
point was, these people weren't afraid to just be the multifaceted people that they are. We're all multifaceted. Like, I think fucked up things sometimes. I think nice things. I'm nice. I'm mean. I'm all of the above. Nobody is one thing. So when you get somebody that's actually willing to take down the veil, because especially when we're in public, everybody, they say this about dating, but I feel like this applies to life too. Everybody's being your representative. You know,
right.
like nobody is ever actually honest with themselves about, and the thing is, forget the representative to other people. People aren't true to themselves about who they are. Like, you know, they'll put up
Oh yeah.
they'll put up the walls about how they really feel or how they really think, because, you know, they don't even want to face themselves for real. So when you find somebody that, even when it's ugly, he's being himself. Even when it's cool, he's being himself. It shows you that, listen, man, people are human. We're human. And that doesn't take away from that perceived humanity. That doesn't take away from how people interact with other people, because anybody who's met him on a personal level has nothing but positive things to say about him.
Oh
Because it's
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
because
The
he's
stories
a
abound.
genuine person in
Yep.
that regard.
Well,
So
he was a
like,
Sagittarius, so you know, of course he was generous. I'm sorry, I'm a Sag, so I had to throw that in there.
oh, listen, if we're going by science, they say all types of shit about Leos, and that's me. So I'll fall back from
We'll save that conversation.
I'll fall back from that.
I like Leos. I like Leos. No, no, that DMX hurt for real.
And then so there was that. I was already in a funky mood about that, and then the 20-year-old. I'm already when I say blanking on his name, is not
No,
because
Dante Wright.
yeah, it's
Dante Wright.
Dante. Like when I say blanking on his name, is not because I don't think he's important. It's because I can't keep track. I can't keep track. I can't keep
That's
track of.
heavy.
I can't keep track of where we are. And the thing is, because, you know, I don't know why I read comments. It's just probably the same reason why I watch Fox News, because I might hate myself. But
Yeah,
it's
somewhere
like,
deep inside.
but it's like it's always amazing to me how people will find a way to justify any action made by the, because all right, so let's go through. You could attack the resisting arrest part, because they love throwing the resisting arresting, which, by the way, that's bullshit, because fucking George Floyd was already dead on the ground when they still had him handcuffed, so he wasn't resisting shit. But, you know, we could talk about that. For the people who want to bring up the resisting arrest and they had a warrant out for arrest, I want you to actually look into what that boy was in trouble for.
Yep. One was a little bit.
There's a mass movement across America right now to legalize weed everywhere. Shit just went down here in New York with Cuomo, where they're talking about legalizing weed, and now they're trying to figure out the infrastructure of how they're going to tax businesses, et cetera, et cetera. He's a
Hold
boy.
on, let me just
He's
say
a
this,
boy.
LC. If I wanted to, and this has been the way for a long time, I'm in California. If I wanted to order a grocery bag full of weed right now,
You
literally
can do that.
app on my phone. Oh, in various kinds. I can say I'm gonna get some brownies. I'm gonna get some lollipops. We have it in coffee. We have it in drinks. I can get joints. I can get loose. I can get flowers. I can get whatever, right? But of course now, you know, there are white people who are getting very, very rich of it. It's only been was criminalized when we were barely surviving off of weed. Although he wasn't, he didn't even have a lot. He didn't have enough to distribute,
Yeah,
like they tried
yeah,
to claim.
yeah. But it's like, so he gets in trouble underage for marijuana. Then I guess whatever he has to pay back to the city, Mrs. payments, I guess, ended up in collections, and that's what the
It was
warrant. So,
literally like $80. And by the time they added a fine, I mean, it was not more than $200. Oh,
it's
and
not.
the first time they mailed it to the wrong address. Let me just say that too. They mailed it to the wrong
So
address. He didn't get it.
So so when you look at it in totality, they stop when you're 20 years old. I'm at the age now where 20 is a child. You know what I'm saying? So when you're 20 years old and you get stopped for air freshener, which is that's bullshit number one. Then they see that there's a warrant for your arrest because, God forbid you smoke some weed out here, you know, so they got to take you in for that. Then you mean to tell me somebody who's been on the force, well, how long was she on the force? He said 25 years, 25 years,
26 years, and she
20,
actually is
20,
a
20,
senior and
20,
ahead of a year.
26 years. And I'm supposed to believe and she doesn't know the difference between a gun and a taser. I'm supposed to believe that after 2.5 decades on the job, I'm supposed to believe she doesn't know the difference. See, all right, all right, all right, all right.
Oh,
Before I
wait, hold
get
on,
back,
wait. Because I'm old now, so I'm gonna forget. I just want to say one thing. Having an air freshener on your back window or something is illegal, right? But this is what I want to stress to people when I talk about systemic racism. Understand laws are created. Systemic racism means that laws are created so they can justify being racist against us. And it could be legal to really discriminate and to put us in jail. So it's the reason why you will have saggy pants in certain areas. I actually believe Minnesota has this. You can get a fine and you can, that's illegal, right? Whereas they will never police and say those booty shorts that the white girls wear where half of their little butts are hanging out, that's not illegal, right? But what black men wear is criminalized. If black people, we gonna have it, we can have the raggediest car in the world, but that shit gonna be clean and it's gonna smell good, right? We're gonna have our air fresheners from the whatever. So to make air fresheners illegal, there's no logical reason for that. Again, that's let's institutionalize how we criminalize black people and how can we find it. So already we're starting out with the purpose of trying to hurt our black men, our people. Like, let's just start that before we even get further, because I want people to understand. And that's why, not to be this person about voting and stuff, you got to watch your freaking laws, because this country has criminalized so much of what black people may naturally do. And that's how they pick the laws. How can we arrest
oh,
and put
yo,
in
because I
jail
remember,
those black
like,
people?
I'm from, I'm saying, I'm from the, being from the Bronx. I remember when they made it basically illegal. Like, if there was three of us, that's a gang. That's a gang now. I'm in a gang.
Right,
God forbid I met this motherfucker in math class, but we a gang now. You know, you know.
right, right.
But all right. So about the cop. I like to do these mental games. Let's play the game that there's no racism involved, and she generally
That's the
made
name
a
of it.
and she generally made an honest mistake and pulled out the wrong thing, right? So even if we play that game, so what you're telling me is that police are always scared and are stupid. That's what you're telling me. I'm just, but by the rules that you're setting, if I'm taking out the bias part of it, what you're telling me is that they're always afraid and too dumb to know the difference of what's happening out here. Either way, I don't want them people policing my streets.
Right.
If you too stupid to know about the weapons on your person, I don't need you policing anywhere. I don't. I
But
don't.
but that's why we
If after two
but
and a half, if after 2.5 decades, you can't tell the difference between your pistol and a taser, I don't want you anywhere near people on the streets. I don't.
absolutely not. But
But
this is
now
this is why
let's
we want
bring back in what this really is.
yeah, let's bring back in what it really is. Because let me say this: they were interviewing a cop today, a police officer, and he said, when you have the responsibility of a gun, you know, he said, not only do you know the difference between a gun and a taser, because the weight difference is substantial. You don't
Yes.
lift up a gun and lift up a taser and not know the difference. He said, he said, most cops, particularly one as senior as she is, could actually tell you what type of gun it is, how it's like low, like you just know it. You know it just so well. It's your tool, it's your life. So he said, he even said that's kind of bullshit. Let me tell you how many times it's happened where a taser is confused for a gun. How frequently it happens. approximately one time per year ever where it happens, right? And I'm sure you can guess on who it happens on. One time per year. And they say the times that it's at, but they've changed laws. So it's like on the weakest side of your body. So if you're right-handed, your taser is going to be, you know, but it happens one time per year. It seems, unfortunately, these accidents somehow happen to Black people. What? End up, killing us. Doesn't seem to happen at any other time. But it is not an occurrence that happens frequently. And the major reason for that the occurrence happen is that it's an incredibly high stress situation, like maybe storming the Capitol. Like maybe that's the time it should have happened. Or
No, no,
very
because
immature cops.
those are patriots, Randy. What are you talking about? Those are patriots. They're patriots.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was nothing to be scared of there. There was nothing to be scared of there. So high stress situations, not some 20-year-old thin kid where there's multiple cops. That's not high stress, shouldn't be for a cop. Or a new recruit, like somebody who's new on the force, which this woman was not.
Which
I believe
she
that's why
was.
she kept yelling.
I just, and here's the fucked up thing. Here's the fucked up thing, and this is how programmed I am at this point. When I saw him basically trying to free himself, my thought wasn't, oh my God, how dare he do something like that? My thought was, brother,
Go.
don't do that. I was like, well, hold on, brother, don't do that, because
they're gonna kill you.
They don't need a reason to shoot your ass anyway. But this will be all the justification they need. That's the thought that I had. It wasn't that I felt like he was wrong. It was like, this is all the justification they need to shoot your ass. That's all they need. Because first of all, they don't even need that much. They don't need that.
They don't need nothing.
They don't need
anything.
But the fact that this has happened, it's almost like a get out of jail free card. Hey, see, I had to shoot him a whole bunch of fucking times. See, look at that. I had to do it.
The police chief gave her an excuse. His very first press conference, he said, it to me looks like an error. Like he claimed it right there. When is that ever done? When is that ever done that immediately here's the thing too. In the benefit of the doubt. That's white privilege to be given the benefit of the doubt. We don't ever get that.
Once again, let's look at the error though, right? Mm-hmm. If I accidentally, say I was riding a motorcycle and I accidentally hit somebody on the sidewalk, I really 100% didn't mean to do it. Guarantee my ass is still going to jail for manslaughter.
Absolutely.
There's still fucking laws for mistakes. If it wasn't, I don't believe it's a mistake. But even if you want to give her, even if you want to give her that excuse, there's still rules against that shit.
But what was the other cop who went to the wrong apartment? She thought it was her apartment and shot the guy. Like, why Botham?
Both them, Gene.
Yeah. So how, that was a mistake. So, but and again, that goes from the way that particularly white women, they're always going to be seen as innocent. Oh, poor thing, she made a mistake. Oh my gosh, I went to the wrong apartment and I shot the wrong person.
Terrence Crutcher, white woman shot Terrence Crutcher, but they were the cops in the helicopter were magically able to determine that he looked like a bad dude. They were in the helicopter, but they could somehow tell that the man on the street was a bad guy. I remember I heard that audio and I was just like, yo, you're in a fucking helicopter. How the hell are you going to be able to make a determination like that from the fucking sky?
Ridiculous. Well, they could see he was brown. So that's enough to say danger in America. That's enough to say danger. What struck me too about when he was trying to, leave, and I get so sick of white people saying comply, as if we have the same relationship with police officers as they do.
Seen a white guy punch a cop. Don't talk to me about complying.
Right. Exactly. Like we don't have in our community, understandably, the level of trust where we would listen to somebody. So when you say comply and say, oh, just listen to what they're doing or get out your car, we as a people have been traumatized. So if all the kids who watched, let's just say George Floyd, let's just say that's the only thing they saw. I mean, it strikes me that there were so many children that saw Floyd get murdered. Those
Mhm.
kids and all the kids who've been watching it on TV that are Black, that understand that it's about race, that are hearing in their families is about race. You want those same children to trust a cop, to treat them fairly, and to act in their best interest? Like, what the fuck? And I'm really kind of getting sick of all these people that are complicit and purposefully blind and not seeing taking a moment to see the world as we see it and as we experience it. Those people we do not see as our friends for a lot of reasons, okay? That we've all experienced, most of us have had some experience, regardless of socioeconomics. That's another thing that kills me. They try to say it's, oh, in certain areas. No, I'm telling you, there's not a man I know, and I know some powerful, successful, whatever, who has not been unfairly treated and had a Black man incident with a cop who is not, who
I
hasn't.
mean, I just think it's incredible how a lot of the bullshit narratives get basically trampled on when it still involves us, like the army lieutenant who was pulled over at the gas station and just kept on asking, what did I do? Which, by the way, legally you're supposed to tell them what you're apprehending somebody for. You're supposed to tell them that, by the way, for
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
people out there who don't understand that. Like if
Yeah.
a cop is trying to arrest you for something, they actually need to tell you what it's for. But it's amazing how Kaepernick was disrespecting the troops for years, apparently. Then you have a real troop, and they pepper sprayed him
Yeah.
and his dog. They pepper sprayed his dog. And then in the end, how you save face? The cop is telling him, mind you, he's still on the back of his own car trying to gather himself from the pepper spray in his fucking face. And then the cop is basically telling him, like, hey man, if you want to, like, just like let this go and da da da. No, why the fuck should he let this go?
Right.
Why the fuck should he let this go? The whole time y'all talk about compliance, this man literally has his hands out the window
Out
asking
the
you,
window.
what
Begging.
did I do? You
Mm-hmm.
won't tell him, you pepper spray him, you yank him out of his car, then you let him go with not a crime because no crime was fucking committed. And then you want to tell me about, if you guys just did the right thing, then nothing would happen.
And you know what? You know what? Listen, the part that really fucking pisses me off is that we bought that, right? For a long time, we bought it. We sat down and we had conversations with our family members. Every Black kid has gotten that conversation about how to act if they're interacting with the cop, because we believed that maybe we could control it. Maybe that if we did everything that we were supposed to do, that we could come out alive. But what these cops have shown us, thanks to movie can the video phones, the phones, is that you could do every fucking thing right. You could be begging for your life. You could be fucking asleep. You could be in your own apartment and they will still kill you and get away with it. So, what makes me desperate as the mother of two sons, as the mother of an 18 and a 20-year-old sons, I don't even know what the fuck to tell them. Like, I don't even, because at least I felt safe before, that if we did everything right, if we made them, drive around in a very low key car, that they wouldn't get noticed. And
No,
I gave them extra driving lessons, and
no,
taught them yes sir, no sir, and show your hands and put your
no.
license here so they can get it. But what I'm saying is, because as parents, gosh, we want to feel as if we have some control to protect our children. Everything we do is, if we just do this right, our kids will be okay. And so, how do I even protect my mental health? And I'm being serious.
I
If there
wish I
is
had
no, if there is
wish
no
I had an
formula,
answer. I wish I had an answer because I mean because I see your perspective from two different angles. On one angle, my mother was always worried about me, especially because I talk back, even probably when I shouldn't.
Hmm.
So that was because when you were talking about teaching, trying to teach the lessons of that, she was just like, listen, I know how you get, just don't yap back to them, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just like, Mom, that's not gonna make a difference. Like and at this point, I really couldn't tell you how many times I've been stopped by police, searched by police, frisked by police in my car, outside of my car. Like I really don't have a number anymore. And then seeing it from the other perspective, because like, yeah, like I have 3 kids, two boys, and and especially like my oldest is at the age now where we have these conversations with him, and I tell him some of my own, it's weird. When we first started having the talks, I would tell him situations that happened to me, and his mind was blown, just like, oh my God, I can't believe da da da. You say things to him now, and it's almost like he's not phased anymore.
That
And that's
scares me.
fright and it's frightening because he's like, he's
That
not
is
even
frightening.
11. He's not even 11 yet. And
Hmm.
he's just already just like, yeah, that's just, what they do. And the thing is, even though that is what the reality is, I almost I want to give him some semblance of hope, but I don't know what to tell him because it's like, I don't know. I'm not necessarily hopeful myself. So
Right.
I don't know what to tell him to make him feel better because I don't necessarily feel better about it all. So but then I don't want to leave the whole scenario in doom and gloom. But it's just like, you could just run the like you were saying before, you could just run the gauntlet. There's nothing you can do to be safe. I feel like a black person has been murdered in every imaginable situation.
Every imaginable
There's there's
situation.
there's no there's no there's no like people still come up with bullshit about Breonna Taylor. She was asleep.
Right.
I don't know how more non-threatening you could be than in REM sleep. I don't know what else to do that is non-threatening to you than be the fuck asleep. I don't know. I don't know how else to help you. And the only person that got in trouble was for the bullet that went into the neighbor's apartment. That's the only like crime that was committed. The bullet that went through the wall of a neighbor's apartment, but not the
Because our
I've
lives
got
don't
nothing.
matter. And that's what they don't
I've got nothing.
that that's what they don't want to say, because our lives don't matter. They see our
And then
lives the
you
same way they saw our lives when they founded this
and
damn
then
country, that we were less
and
than.
then and then the fucked up thing is, I refuse to watch the George Floyd trial. I refuse
I
because
can't.
I'm just gonna get mad all over again. But of course, it's hard to escape the clips, right?
Yeah, I see the clips.
And it's like, at this point, I feel like they've had a dozen medical experts say, yeah, no. He died from his neck being pressed on.
Right.
And
It's been
then
said
you
all
have,
the time.
there's like a dozen of them now at this point. Then you have a bunch of his own fellow officers like, man, shit, that ain't protocol. I don't know what he was doing, right? And even after all of that, until he's found guilty, I'm gonna believe he's gonna be found innocent. That's how this works.
Right.
That's how this works. That no matter what type of evidence they present, I still, in my heart of hearts, believe he'll be let off because that's what I expect. And I explained this to
Well, that's
somebody,
what has happened. That's what has always
but I
happened. So
but
why would you
but I
expect
but
differently?
I forgot who I was explaining this to. Where I said, like, listen, take the death of Walter Scott. Take the death of Walter Scott, where the cop shot him in the back, walked up to his dead body, put a taser next to him, and then tried to say in his police report that he went for his taser, which is why he shot him, right? Okay, so we're gonna go with that story. The video that showed obviously that all of that was bullshit. The
Mhm.
cop got on the stand and said, my recollection of events clearly don't match what happened in this video. The first trial was still a hung fucking jury.
Right.
The man admitted what I said was bullshit. It doesn't match the evidence. He literally got on under oath. He said, what I said doesn't match what happened. And it was still granted the second trial he was convicted. Why the fuck did it reach a second trial? He admitted under oath that he lied about what happened. And they still found a way to make it to a second trial. So that's why I have no faith.
I mean, no
shit,
faith. All you need is one person.
You can go all the way back to fucking Rodney King. We
watched
him beat Rodney King's ass. We watched him beat Rodney King's ass. And so somehow magically, everybody went home. So I don't have faith in the outcome of this trial.
And Furman actually made more money. I mean, wrote a book, bought a ranch out in Idaho or Minnesota or somewhere where a bunch of racists are, and lived his happy little life. I mean, life became better for him out of beating the shit out of Rodney King. You know, what I think about, because, you know, I'm just so in love with my people, is I just worry about just the mental trauma and stress, and how do we keep on keeping on. And like you talked about, being hopeful, because, you know, throughout this whole thing we've been talking about fear, you know, fear of our day-to-day lives, fear for our kids. And you do, at a certain level, lose a level of hope. And, you know, you need hope to keep on keeping on. You know, we have to almost have this kind of false hopes, because I believe we keep being let down and disappointed. And so, you know, we're living in a country, you know, this is our home. How the fuck we got here is not matter. They brought us here, but it's our home, and we don't feel safe.
Never
Like
have.
how, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But how is that we don't feel safe? You know, that the police will protect us, and we don't feel safe once we get to the justice system that will protect us. Which is another thing I have to bring up. I'm so damn sick about people talking about why people ruining their cities and stuff. I want to be like, okay, so what the fuck do you? What's your suggestion of how we deal with these certain things? Like, you know, because there are the big bougie organizations, the NAACP, the Links, the Boule, all that. They're writing letters, Kappas, the Alphas, the AKs. We're writing letters decrying the violence, right? So we're doing the formal thing, right? Mm-hmm. We're voting people in. We have a African American, Asian vice president. We are marching peacefully, most of us. At a certain point, when you have done trying to do everything right and it doesn't work, I don't understand how people cannot not identify with that justification. And, you know, I posted this. If every year college campuses get torn up, millions of dollars worth of damage when they win or lose a game. Yeah. Now we ain't talking about watching somebody that looks just like my uncle, my father, my best friend, whatever, get the life sucked out of them. We're talking about they done lost the game. Hockey matches, whatever, and they will tear up some shit, catch shit on fire, turn over cars, and that's understandable. And the news barely even reports it. But they don't understand why we'd catch fire to things after seeing murders that we can't.
I went to school in Boston, so I've seen Boston riot over the Patriots. So you know, like I've seen people get shot with all types of rubber bullets and set cars on fire and do it. Yeah. So no, you're absolutely right. Like, and that's literally over a fucking football game. So I don't want to hear anything from anybody to be like, shut up.
I know, LC, as much as I love talking to you, I'm so sick of talking about this. Like, you know, we've had this conversation about our black men murdered and black women, like, too much. I'm just sick of the fucking conversation, and I really just don't trust anymore that it's going to change in practical ways. In, you know, I'm not going to lie, I used to be that person that I thought that if we just followed the law and did everything right and perfectly, we had, we could make things better. But it's like, I don't know. And, maybe the stuff is raw. I woke up this morning, I did a video. I didn't think I was going to be able to work today. I really didn't think I was going to be able to work, particularly doing what I do. Um,
The thing that's
I mean,
the thing that's more disheartening for me, it's like, of course, like these are very blatant examples of what we normally speak about, but then it's the underlying things that a lot of times even frighten me more, in the sense that we all got hyped with what Georgia was able to pull off in the election. And then just maybe a couple of days in the news cycle, they might have talked about the fact that they just basically in Georgia changed a bunch of the fucking voting laws. And then they just went about their merry business. They just went about their merry business. Nobody's even talking about that anymore, because as, and I don't mean this to downplay any murdered brother or sister, because that's extremely important. But they would much rather feed us that story than feed us the story of, oh, hey, we're quietly taking away your ability to vote, y'all. Which, by the way, it's and this is just to address, I don't know, just because my mind just went there, certain conspiracy theorists, because like they're conspiracy theorists about voting, they're conspiracy theorists about the vaccine. Listen, when it comes to voting, if it really didn't mean anything, motherfuckers wouldn't be trying to change laws constantly to stop you from doing it.
They work harder to stop us voting than anything else. I'm telling you, like, that's part of the incarceration reason.
And then, like the vaccine, for example, like I'm not telling anybody to do anything. You do what your heart feels, right? But if this really was a plot against Black people, which a bunch of shit has been a plot against Black people, let's not get that misconstrued.
Listen, I went to Tuskegee undergrad. You ain't got to tell me.
But if this really was a plot, I wouldn't be seeing so many white people in my motherfucking neighborhood taking these shots. Like, I remember.
That's what I tried to tell people.
When I went to go, because I actually did mine a couple weeks ago, and it's just like I went back to like my old neighborhood to go get it done, and never seen that many white people in co-op in my life. I've never seen that many white people there in my life.
I told people that. I've been at the churches in the hood.
The crazy thing was, it was in. They were doing it basically in the middle community center. And it's like, it was me, one other Black person, and like 2 Spanish couples. Everybody else was white. And I was just like, I'm the minority in my own community center for this fucking vaccine. I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't. This is why I do it. So I drink.
Yeah. I didn't want you to drink alone. I still actually have a class I'm training tonight on white privilege. Then I run it.
Yeah, just put on the news and let it run. And it's like, this is the class, the news.
You know what? I taught a white privilege class this morning, and I said, and I normally would not have said this. I said, let me give you an example of white privilege. I said, when I'm structuring these seminars, the first thing I think about is the content. Of course, like, what do I want you all to teach? What are my learning outcomes? I said, but the second thing I think about is, how can I teach this stuff where white people will not, the white fragility, the white tears, the white, how can I so you won't get offended and feel upset. And so, my job is always, how do I make systemic racism, privilege, white fragility, all these things as pleasant as possible, right? And I was like, because, that's what I mean by privilege. You are at the center of things, right? Because if any way you are made to feel a certain way, then, the classes don't go, and then I don't make my money. And so, that's white power. At a certain point, I have to consider that. And I said, what annoys me is that as I am dealing with my own heaviness from watching yet another brother, oh, so that could be my son. I have a 20-year-old, be murdered, another brother, as the trial of George Floyd is happening. I must get up, smile, be exceptional, deliver the same as I always do, and really be concerned about your feelings, white person. And you don't, not a person said, how are you today? Because I know this has got to be that you are watching your people being slaughtered by the people who are supposed to be protecting them. That's traumatic, right? That is trauma. But my job, I still have to go in there and be concerned about those
You
feelings.
about you.
And right.
Yeah.
And how they feel. I can't really even be concerned about the issues. I have to be concerned about how they feel about how I'm talking about the issues. And so the weight is becoming just a little bit too much to bear. I'm so sick of their feelings being more important than progress. Um, and anybody else's feelings. I'm just gonna be, I don't know. I'm gonna have to learn how to cornroll or something, y'all. I don't know what the hell. I'm gonna have to, I don't know. Do 50-year-old people, am I too old to be a stripper? I might have
I mean,
to, I'm gonna have to come up with something because
I mean, in this era, you got OnlyFans. You don't even need to go outside.
oh yeah, let me check out only do they allow 50-year-olds?
Hey, listen, there's everybody up there.
Okay, because I'm joking, and don't get me. I really do believe I used like what I do, and I think I'm great at it. But that's a burden right now. It's almost too heavy to bear. I don't know. Well, one thing I said earlier today, and I've been sending out, on social media. I just really want to express my love to people. Like I know that the world is not even considering how you are feeling. You parents out there, you kids out there, those of you who have to, you get up and you have to still function. I just want you to know that like I see you and I understand and I'm with you. Like I understand because my heart is like hurting, right? My son has to go to CVS. And my heart, and that literally CVS is like a mile from my house, and I'm just sick. I just want to keep them still. So I don't know. I believe like at least within our community, y'all, let's just like love each other a little harder and be a little bit more understanding and just express it and ask each other how are you doing and provide our own support because I really believe right now that's all we for the most part we've got.
I agree. I agree.
Well, hopefully next time we talk there'll be something better. I'm sorry, I don't even have anything damn positive to say.
I mean, listen, I preferred making fun of Derek Jackson, man. But
Yeah, making fun with Derek Jackson was so much more fun,
yeah,
you know. Uh,
but
but it
yeah,
seems like, yeah, he's fighting with people too. So I don't know, guys, hang in there. We'll hopefully continue to just talk about it and just know that we at least understand how all of us must be feeling. We're not
absolutely.
alone. And be as kind to yourself as you possibly can be. You know what I mean? Like as gentle, as kind to yourself, practice as much self-care as you possibly can. Because I think we need it. We're gonna need it.
We always do.
We,
Unfortunately, we always do.
yeah, we do. All right. Well, thanks for talking to me.
Catch y'all next time.
Catch y'all next time.
Peace.
Peace.